What's up, everybody? It's P Lotus, and I'm back with week 10 of Brandon Bill Institute. So, today we're talking about operations and systems. Okay, so it's important to have operations and systems in your business. Operations are what make the business tick, the daily operations. How does it operate? Like it has to be able to function fully and constantly be able to tick, almost like a clock. It has to hit every second, every hour. That's your operations. And the systems are what you put in place to make sure that the operations are operating correctly. And the more you able to automate that whole process and get yourself out of it, the more that your business can grow and scale without you in it. Okay. So examples of some of the operating procedures would be like onboarding. How do you onboard customers? How do you onboard employees? How do you onboard your team members? How do you onboard sponsors? How do you onboard clients? Content workflows. So how does your content go from being created to being posted online and then to being improved and then created and posted online, improved and created and posted online? How does that workflow look? Who's responsible for what? When it comes to operations, that's when you start putting a name on the task. Like who is responsible for doing this? First, you identify the task, and then you talk about who's responsible for what task and when does it need to get done. That's you're starting to answer those questions now. And you're starting to think in terms of how am I able to grow this? Because you go from being the expert to becoming to building a company brand. So this is the process of translating your expertise into a system that other people can follow. So that's how you kind of like it was your brand that launched it was your personal brand that launched the business, but going through this process is how you are systemizing your expertise into a business model that other people can follow, and different people can do different parts of what you do to where as a whole it still represents your expertise and your vision and your brand. That's the only way that your business will ever grow bigger than you. Because if your business stays about you and it stays about your personal brand and it stays about what you can do as an individual, it will never grow beyond you as an individual. Your brand will always be limited to where you can physically be, to what you can physically do. And you want to get out of that as soon as possible. You want to get to the point to where you've created a brand outside of yourself that can survive and someone else can get in the driver's seat and not have a problem because they have the driver's manual. And the driver's manual is what you're creating now. So where you built the car, you know how it works from top to bottom, but you have to create the driver's manual for someone else to be able to get in the car and drive. And that's the only way that it'll be able to go further, or that's the only way you can make more cars, is if you were able to get out of this car and let somebody else drive it. So these systems are in place for that. So another type of system is payment systems. Okay, so that's like, how do you get paid? How do you pay other people? How does money flow in and out of your business? That should be automated. Payment systems should be automated. We take most of our payments through the website. Now, if we're doing events and stuff like that, okay, you got cash, and cash is always just going to be cash. You got to deal with it. But you want your payment systems to be pretty much automated to where you're able to take payments in your sleep. And because we have technology, there's no reason not to use that type of technology. So we're creating a system. These are just examples of some systems you can automate or create. Just create the system for it to where it works without you. That's the goal we're on. I know it's kind of crazy because like you just started this business, you just developed this business, you know, and now we're already talking about how we can get it to work without you. But honestly, if you think about it, when you have a child, the time you had that child, from the time the child's born, what are you doing? You're raising that child to be able to function without you. That's the whole thing you're doing. That's the whole point of being a parent. is you're teaching this child how to function without you. So if you look at your business as your baby, that's what you're doing. You're raising your baby to the point where it can function without you. And that's the only time you can really be a proud parent is when you can actually look at your child, your creation, your baby. You can look at that function independent of you and still thrive. That's how you know you did your job, right? So, and if you gave them the right instructions, you gave them the right blueprint, they shouldn't have any problem succeeding in life. And it's the same with your business. If you give people the right blueprint, they should be able to take your business and help it grow further. So, what's another concept? Standard operating procedures. We kind of talked about that before, but so for standard operating procedures, we got client onboarding steps, weekly content posting routine, and customer service responses. So, those are some of the standard operating procedures. And you need to come up with those standard operating procedures. Like, as much as you can figure out, like every thing you have to do in your business. So basically, what do you do in your business in a week? Write down everything you do in your business for a week, or it might take longer than that. You might have to do like a whole 30 days and write down every single thing you do in your business for that 30 days. And you look at that and then you figure out like what things on there do I have to do and what things on there can I have somebody else do. And the sooner you can figure out how to systemize certain aspects of what you're doing to where someone else can handle it, then the sooner that you'll be able to grow your business. Like the faster your business can grow, the sooner you can let go of certain things, the faster your business can grow. Because there's certain things in your business that you don't need to do. There's certain things you do have to do as the owner, but there's certain things you don't have to do. So let go of as many of those things you don't have to do. And the way you let those things go is by creating standard operating procedures. That is your blueprint that you give to people, that you can give to people. That's like the literally it's writing down how things are done. So if you're a chef and you own a restaurant, your standard operating procedures is basically like the recipe that you're giving to the people that come in there. They they know what they're doing somewhat, but in order for them to come into your restaurant and make things the way that you are known for making them and to be able to give your customers the same experience that you've been known for giving them, you establish yourself as the expert in being able to provide this experience to your customers. So how do you get new people to come into your business and provide the customers with the same experience? The blueprint, the recipes. You give them the recipes that you have. You know what I mean? You give them access to your recipes. You show them how to use your recipes, and it's written down. All they can do is follow the instructions. And if they follow the instructions to a T, they should be able to create what you create and grow your business and help you grow your business. It just depends on how good is your recipe. How good, we know your recipe is good, but how good are you at writing it down? Right? Because in your mind, you probably just put a sprinkle of this, you put a sprinkle of that, you put a whole bunch of this, you put a couple scoops of that. But when it comes to your business and your standard operating procedures, we need to know. You need to get it down to 1 cup of this, 1 teaspoon of this, 1 teaspoon of that, two of these. You need to know exactly. Mix it for this long. Put it in this kind of pan. Bake it for that long. It literally has to be, you have to be able to break down your systems all the way down to the point to where someone off the street could just pick up the recipe and make it exactly like you. And I know that sounds like I can't do that. My skills are unique. I'm rare and all this. Well, the sooner you get over that and find out a way to write down how you do things, the sooner you'll be able to step away from your business and watch it grow. The sooner you'll have freedom. Because until then, it's a job. You really have a job. Your business is your job until you find a way to have freedom and it becomes actually a business that you own instead of a business that you work in. Yeah, man, we hitting it today. Standard operating procedures. Okay, I'm not even writing them down today. So basically, your standard operating procedures, they allow other people to replicate the process. They allow other people to do what you do. So what's another concept? Automation tools. Okay, so we're talking about automation tools. That could be scheduling software, email automation. You got posting automation, like social media manager automations, where you can schedule posts and have those posts scheduled out. So, like technology like that, incorporate that into your business. AI, they have AI employees where they can take over certain things in your business, like whether it's sending emails, making posts, writing blogs. They have AI that can do certain things in your business that like you don't necessarily have to do yourself. There's certain things that you have to do, but other things that are just like tedious things that it might take you a while, but AI could do it for you faster or handle it quicker. Even things like video editing and stuff like that. Just AI is able to do so much for you. So if you're not able to like build the team right away, then just find the automation tools that you need. Find the AI tools that you need to help you get stuff done. That way, now you're delegating things to AI. You're delegating things to automated or delegating things to schedulers, like different things like that, to where you're still taking stuff off your plate, and then you're not necessarily having to deal with like trying to find people to do these things, because that's a whole another challenge, is like finding people. So if you can find tools, find technology that can help you systematize your business, then that's what you need to do. And then eventually you can replace those automated tools. You can replace those tools with people eventually. But just to get into the mind state of not doing everything and delegating things out, go ahead and use those automated systems. There's a lot of different tools, and I'm gonna make some suggestions for this one. I'm gonna make some suggestions for some AI tools that you can use to help automate your business for sure. And what else are we talking about? Okay, so some of the tasks you could delegate that you don't have to worry about all the time. I would say like admin tasks. Eventually, you don't want to have to worry about that. So that's the answering calls, answering emails, answering DMs, just like little small things that it don't take an expert to do, or it doesn't take you the expert to do. Those are the things you need to delegate. Like the sooner you can get like an assistant to kind of handle some of those administrative things, that's perfect. Anybody that you have that just wants to volunteer and just wants to help out with your business, like that's probably what you need to put them on first, is the administrative stuff. When it comes to the phone calls and talking to the leads and talking to other people, you might have to be the one to close the deals, but you need people that can at least like bring the leads in and get the conversation started, and then pass them to you once it's a hot lead, and then you can close. That's kind of the ideal way to do it. But even that's hard to find sometimes. But I mean, they got virtual assistants too. You can pay a virtual assistant to do a lot of these admin tasks. So don't let good help being hard to find, don't let that be what holds you back. For sure. What else are we talking about? Customer support. That's a good one. Customer support, you can kind of outsource that, but at the same time, you want to delegate it to someone else, which I feel like that's kind of administrative task. We got people dealing with customers. Maybe if customers have an issue or they need something corrected or something like that, you want to be able to delegate that out to where you're not always dealing with customer complaints or customer concerns or trying to fix every problem every customer has, because that could be distracting as far as making progress and thinking towards the future and being focused. That could be distracting if you're constantly getting calls about minor things that customers need help with when you can have somebody else to do that. All right. The last thing is technical work. Yeah. The technical work, you kind of want to stay away from that. You want to stay away from the hands on work or get away from it. Like if your whole business is centered around you doing technical work, then that's cool. But you want to get away from that as soon as possible. You got to systematize it. You got to figure out how to show other people what you do. I mean, even with me, like I'm showing other people what I do right now. Like I'm showing you how to be an entrepreneur, how to build a brand, how to have a community. Like I'm showing you how to do it so you can do it with me one day. You can build a community with PHE one day. So this is what it's all about. It's about being able to communicate your expertise and like teach other people. If you can't teach other people, then you're not really an expert. If you can't teach somebody else how to do it, you're not really an expert. You're not an expert until you can teach somebody else how to do it. So don't call yourself an expert if you got to keep all the knowledge to yourself. You know what I mean? You're not an expert until you can show somebody, until you can break it down and make it simple. And I feel like I'm making some pretty complicated stuff pretty simple, if I say so myself. But that's it for SOPs. I mean, that was week 10. Operations and systems. We really dove in though too. Y'all understand? I feel like I broke it down, like what you need a system for, how to build a system, and what operations are in your business. And you want to like pull yourself out of operations to the point to where your business can operate on its own, and you can be an owner and not a worker in your business. That's the goal. Like you don't want to have to babysit your child forever. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, you want your child to be grown and independent. Like you still love your child, you still want to spend time with them, but eventually, you kind of want them to not need to get their diaper changed, right? So that's where we're at with it. We building big businesses here. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, we're not making lemonade stands. We're building big businesses. This is the foundation to build a big business. So shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you land amongst the stars, right? So that's what we on. We shooting for the moon here. And that's what I got for y'all, man. So like I say, work on the assignment. Y'all should be able to get the assignment down. I gave y'all a good little rundown of the concepts. So now go ahead, take what you just learned and apply that to the assignment. Because I'm saying if you apply what you learned to the assignment, it's gonna help you out, and then we'll be able to get this business plan put all the way together, and then get your final launch ready, and we'll be out here all the way. And I'm looking forward to it. So just hit me up and tap into the live stream. I'll see y'all there and turn in your assignments. And if you got any questions, just let me know.